Malik Jackson tended to his garden as dawn broke over Pinewood Hills. At 42, his powerful frame still commanded respect, though few in this small town knew of his decorated past. The morning air felt crisp against his skin as he knelt in the soil, methodically planting tomato seedlings along the eastern fence of his property. "Morning, Mr. Jackson," called Mrs. Tanner from next door, waving cheerfully. Malik nodded politely. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" He had purchased this modest two-bedroom house 6 months ago, seeking peace after 16 grueling years as a Navy SEAL. 27 missions. 3 Purple Hearts. One life he rarely discussed. The quiet neighborhood suited him perfectly. His days now followed a simple rhythm: gardening at dawn, woodworking in his garage workshop by afternoon, and peaceful evenings on his porch with books about architecture, his newfound passion. This is what peace feels like, Malik often reminded himself, especially when the nightmares came. He had chosen Pinewood Hills specifically because nothing ever happened here that was about to change. Vince Harmon slammed his fist against the bar counter at the Rusty Nail, splashing whiskey across weathered wood. His 3 companions, Drew, Carter, and Pete, exchanged nervous glances. "For generations my family's been in Pinewood Hills," Vince growled, "and now they're letting anyone buy property here." His eyes narrowed dangerously. "Especially in Oak Ridge Circle." The men nodded. They comprised what locals called the Heritage Committee, though their activities extended far beyond historical preservation. Their unofficial mission: keeping Pinewood Hills traditional. "That Jackson guy's been here half a year already," muttered Carter, his thin face twitching with anxiety. "Just getting started," Vince replied, gulping his drink. "Town meeting yesterday, mayor talking about diversity initiatives. It's a damn invasion." Drew leaned forward. "My cousin works at the county records office. Says Jackson paid cash for that house. Something not right about that." Pete cracked his knuckles. "So what are we doing about it, Vince?" Vince's mouth curled into a cruel smile. "Sending a message. Tonight." Malik woke to the sound of shattering glass at 2:38 a.m. His military instincts kicked in instantly. He rolled from bed to floor in one fluid motion, staying low as headlights swept across his bedroom wall. "Get out, Jackson," a voice shouted from outside. "This isn't your town." A bottle crashed through another window, flames erupting as the Molotov cocktail spread fire across his living room carpet. Malik crawled toward his closet, reaching for the small fireproof safe beneath winter clothes. The sound of splintering wood told him they'd broken down his back door. 4 figures stormed in, faces partially covered by bandanas, baseball bats swinging wildly. "Look what we got here, boys," sneered the tallest one, voice slightly slurred from alcohol. "Navy hat on the wall. Playing soldier, were you?" Malik remained hidden, watching as they systematically destroyed his home. Photos shattered. Furniture overturned. Walls spray-painted with slurs and threats. "Burn it all down," ordered the leader. The men doused corners with gasoline, laughing as flames climbed his walls. Smoke alarms screamed their warning. Malik slipped out through his bathroom window, disappearing into the darkness behind his property. From the tree line, he watched his peaceful life turn to ash that he memorized, each face illuminated by the firelight. This wasn't over. It had just begun. Few people knew Malik Jackson had been no ordinary SEAL. He'd served with DEVGRU, the elite unit tasked with the most dangerous missions worldwide. Trained in advanced combat techniques, surveillance, and psychological warfare, Malik had operated in 27 countries, eliminating high-value targets with surgical precision. His specialty? Ghost operations, entering hostile territory unseen, completing objectives without leaving evidence, vanishing without a trace. The Navy had classified most of his missions. His commanding officers called him the Shadow for his ability to move invisibly through enemy terrain. Now, as Malik watched the flames consume his home, that forgotten part of himself reawakened. The men who attacked him had no idea who they just provoked. Malik established a temporary base in an abandoned hunting cabin 3 miles into the forest. On a wooden table, he arranged 5 items: a notebook, binoculars, a police scanner, a laptop, and a phone with a camera. "Approach this like any other operation," he whispered to himself, sketching out the town map from memory. for 3 days, he observed his targets. Vince Harmon worked at the lumber mill. Drew Kepler tended bar at the Rusty Nail. Carter Mills supervised the gas station. Pete Dawson handled maintenance at the community center. Malik documented their routines, associates, and weaknesses. He wouldn't seek revenge, he wanted justice. Evidence first, he noted. Then accountability. The plan was taking shape. Carter Mills locked up the gas station at midnight, unaware of the shadow following him home. When he unlocked his front door, a strong hand clamped over his mouth while another pressed a phone against his face. "Your video destroying my home is playing on this screen," Malik whispered in his ear. "I've sent copies to the police, FBI, and 3 news stations. Now we're going to have a conversation." Inside, Malik zip-tied Carter to a kitchen chair. "Please don't hurt me," Carter begged, trembling. "I'm not like you," Malik replied, pressing record on his phone. "I want names, dates, and everything about Vince's operation. Start talking." Carter's confession spilled out between sobs. Vince paced furiously in his basement, sweat beading on his forehead. "Carter's missing, cops asking questions, and someone sent our videos to the damn newspaper." Drew nervously clutched his shotgun. "We need to find who's doing this." "I know exactly who," Vince snarled, loading his pistol. "Time to finish what we started with Jackson." Vince and his remaining crew arrived at the burned ruins of Malik's house under cover of darkness. They swept flashlights across the charred framework, weapons ready. "Spread out," Vince ordered. "Find any sign of him." Suddenly, the floodlights hidden around the property blasted on, temporarily blinding all 4 men. Police sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. "Good evening, gentlemen," Malik's voice came through speakers positioned around the property. He stepped from the shadows, calmly facing the panicked group. "Drop the weapons," he commanded. Drew raised his shotgun. In one lightning-fast motion, Malik disarmed him, sweeping his legs and pinning him to the ground. Pete lunged forward but crumpled as Malik delivered a precise strike to his solar plexus. Vince aimed his pistol directly at Malik's chest. "You should have left town when you had the chance." "Funny," Malik replied, not flinching. "I was about to say the same to you." The sheriff's vehicle screeched to a halt behind them, spotlights illuminating the entire scene. 3 months later, Malik stood before his rebuilt home. Fresh paint gleamed in the morning sunlight, the new foundation stronger than before. Sheriff Reynolds approached, extending her hand. "Thought you'd want to know." Jury convicted all 4. Hate crime charges added 10 years to their sentences. "Justice served," Malik nodded, satisfaction in his eyes. Neighbors gathered for the housewarming. Faces that had once been strangers now smiled in welcome. The town had changed. That evening, Mayor Wilson presented Malik with an offer to lead Pinewood Hill's new community outreach program. "Sometimes," Malik told the assembled crowd, "what's destroyed can be rebuilt better than before. That goes for houses, and communities." He was home, finally at peace.